All right, guys, so we are home again, and we'll be able to get back to our normal video style, not the short format we're using at Prepper Camp. Quick wrap up of Prepper Camp. Amazing people, always a great time. The August date was a little harsh for sure. It was just warm out there. We had some incidences, and I never run out of things to talk about. And I had a moment during one of my classes that I was just like, is my brain even working anymore? But went great. The self-defense classes, I did a few little tweaks to what I'm teaching, and it went so smooth. Everybody caught on so well, and I just couldn't ask for more. We got to go into a lot of additional content because everybody was picking it up so fast. So I'm really happy with how the classes went. Always great to see my friends. It's a family reunion that you want to go to. So, guys, check it out for Prepper Camp 2027. The tickets come on sale typically right after Christmas, I believe. And the sooner you buy them, the cheaper they are. And you want to get a place booked at Tryon International Equestrian Center. So keep your eyes out for that. And as soon as it happens, jump on that ball because you're never going to find a cheaper time to get involved in the event than when they first come out. Family did great. Everybody was a trooper. Christian got his homework done. Everybody, we muddled through the heat. We tried to stay hydrated. It was a challenge, but we're up for the challenge round. So I think I'm going to design a shirt that's like, come hell or high water, Changing Earth survives, because we made it through Prepper Camp 2024 when Helene hit, and now we had the heat wave camp. So definitely a lot of fun, though. I'd recommend it if you want to come and just learn a ton of homesteading knowledge and survival knowledge and tactical knowledge. There's just no place better to do it. There are literally 9 classes a day, and or 9 tenths. So you get options to 9 different classes for 8 hours a day. It is just full of information, and you're going to love it. It's a great time. So if you've ever been interested in learning homesteading, and lots of great, they have the colloidal silver. I actually have a lot of folks from Prepper Camp on my podcast here coming up. I met a great herbalist that we can have on the show, and just a bunch of new faces and people to get involved. So there's going to be some wonderful Changing Earth podcasts coming up in the near future. Okay, so the survival tip that I wanted to bring to you tonight, I've been saying this kind of over and over this weekend, well, definitely during my class and whatnot. But I learned this from Coach Asher over at Gogi Krav Maga. And I always say the name wrong, so I have to really think about it. Um, so there's a bar, and there's a pond out back, and there's an alligator in the pond, and there's a sign that says, "Do not swim, alligator." All right. And a guy comes to the bar and he gets drunk and he goes out and swims in the pond. So now whose fault is that, right? Is it, the alligator's fault? No, it's the guy's fault because he had every opportunity to avoid being a victim right there. And so we have every opportunity to take whatever measures we can from becoming a victim. Training self-defense, having basic preps, having a good quality insurance person, all of these things that, can victimize us a lot of times. But there are clear steps we can take to try and avoid that. And I was at his women's self-defense seminar. I absolutely loved that piece of information, and it's definitely something that I want to pass on to you as far as it goes. Okay, so author tip for tonight, and this is going to change just kind of how I do boosts in the future and stuff like that. Um, Many people are not reading a physical book anymore. So for you to think that like you're going to go out and sell a ton of physical books is getting more and more interesting. Definitely don't want to, I'm repeat attending the one location at Prepper Camp. And, the sales just weren't really what I had envisioned. I mean, it wasn't for anybody because it was just so hot. Nobody wanted to walk around with that much stuff. But then I saw Kindle numbers go crazy and I saw Audible numbers go crazy. And so my author tip for tonight is understand how the world is kind of working as far as how they're absorbing content. So not only do I have the physical books, but I have the audio books. And then the Kindle, of course, to put it on e-readers, things like that. And then with the audio drama on top of it, that's based off of the novels. It's a lot of ways for people to consume my story, and I teach a lot through my fiction. So I want people to consume my story because you're going to learn a lot about survival and about preparedness and all that stuff along the way as you're reading this really entertaining story. So having multiple methods to deliver your content is really, really important these days. Not just having the one just a print book or something like that. The print books are actually becoming more and more outdated. So the e-forms of delivery and the audio delivery is just really, really important right now. Okay. The tip for how do we turn our country socialist from the 45 that were presented to Congress in the 60s is extension of long-term trade to Russia and its satellites. So I was kind of thinking about this one because not many people know this, but it really changed like my kind of point of view as far as like Russia goes. After the 9/11 attacks, Russia actually gave us a teardrop that had the names of everybody that lost their life in that incident engraved on them. And that's a really cool thing for a country to do. It shows a lot of unity. Like France gave us the Statue of Liberty, and so to receive a gift like that really shows something. So I think that, yes, this was done in the 60s, but also we have to allow other countries to grow and evolve as well. So now, instead of saying like Russia and its satellites, instead of really putting the pressure there, I would say that the concern is the way that we're just doing free trade with communist countries when we know that some people are being really, really mistreated, and we're not letting our values really stand tall as far as, everybody should be created as equals, have that right to liberty. And that's what it's really about. And I've talked before about how you can't have capitalism and a pure capitalist system if you don't have the proper values. And really, our government was set up to kind of stand against that, not be a partnership with the corporation that we kind of see going on right now. So those are some of my concerns there. But when it comes to this particular one, I was like, wow, that's kind of not fair. I mean, we have to allow everybody to change and evolve. And so that's really my take on it. If you have a different take on it, I'd love to hear it in the comments what you think about the extension of long-term trade to Russia and Soviet satellites. Is that really fair to say that anymore? How do you feel about it? Be sure to let me know. Okay, so our positive cloud seeding tip for tonight. And guys, I gotta let you know, I am super tired out. I have some great news potentially that I will let you know about when I'm allowed to let you know about it. But I just can't do that at this time. So I'm really fired up because of that. And I'm really fired up because I got back to training tonight. Even though, man, I was so dehydrated and whooped from prepper camp. But my husband was like, let's do it, let's get back to training. And I was like, are you sure? Okay, let's go. So, when it was a really tough class tonight, it really put us to the test after the weekend we just had. So, I am a little tired out, but I'm a little wired as well. So, and I'm pumped up on life. And that's why I love these positive cloud seeding moments when we can just really reflect on what's making us smile these days and have just a great time and be excited to be living life. So, you are the architect of change, planting seeds of awareness and compassion that will grow into forests of resilience and hope. I mean, that's just an amazing quote that I picked up there. You are the architect of change, planting the seeds of awareness and compassion that will grow into forests of hope and resilience. So, there's a lot of negative memes that poke fun at belief systems that you don't agree with and kind of degrade people and do these things. And then I see people like, why do I even bother? Why even bother having the conversations? Nobody's listening. These kinds of things. If we don't share our values and moral systems, your value and moral systems with the world, then they'll never plant that seed of change, that hope, that resilience that we're really looking for, that compassion for one another that we really, really need at this time. And like I've said so many times before, if you sit down at a table with most everybody, um, there's some things that like are not reconcilable. There's a few. But on the majority, I'd say 90% of the time, you sit down with somebody at the table who doesn't have similar beliefs to you or what you would deem as, just totally against what you believe in. You're going to come to a common ground. If you keep an open mind, if you listen to one another. Now, we had an incident over the weekend where my young son was just totally pissed off at what somebody else, what they were saying and how they were acting and stuff like this. And so that was a teachable moment when I was like, you know what, you're allowed to feel those things, but you can always learn something from everyone, even if that's how not to conduct yourself and what not to say and what, not how to not treat somebody. So everything in life is a teachable experience. You're really just there enjoying that moment. Sorry, there's a little bug flying by in front of the screen. He thinks that my camera is pretty cool. So that's all I got for you tonight, guys. Kind of a shorty but a goodie. And I like to just give you these little bites that you can just devour and do with what you want. But yeah, it was a great time. We're really happy to be home. It was very nice to sleep in our own bed. Sorry I didn't get to you yesterday with a live, but we were literally driving from North Carolina home, and I was the one driving, so it was going to be a little bit hard to do a live at that point. So we did miss last night. But we try to not make that happen. We try to get you a show. And if you are listening on Wednesday morning, I hope you have a great day. And if you're listening Tuesday night, well, regardless, stay blessed. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Give them a big hug. And remember, it's just the human experience. And we might as well be smiling instead of frowning and having a great time and learning how to be agile, resilient, and just make it through life's up and downs together and as a unit. All right, that's all I got for you tonight. Have a good night, guys.